A time has come to make a decision. Are we in this thing alone, or are we in it together?
Good evening, and thank you for attending our 108th annual meeting. I am Jerry Presti, and I'm honored and privileged to serve the Music Settlement as its president and CEO. On your screen now, you'll see tonight's agenda. But before we dive right in, I want to inform you about one of the features of this new meeting format. We still very much want to include an opportunity for the various applause-worthy moments throughout tonight's program, as well as the public voting during the business portion of our meeting. So we'll need your help to make this work. At the appropriate moments during the program, the speakers will prompt all of you to unmute yourselves in order to give an audible applause, as well as to allow for your vote during the board section of the meeting. Our Zoom host will then mute all of you again before moving on. Except for the moments when directed to do so by the speakers to unmute yourselves, we ask that you remain muted. To our board members participating tonight, please note that during the board business portion, you will need to unmute yourselves if you wish to speak. Thank you all in advance for your cooperation. I'd like to begin by thanking our generous funders whose support makes this meeting possible this evening. In addition to the many individuals, including our board, foundations, corporations, and organizations, TMS is supported in part by the residents of Cuyahoga County through a public grant from Cuyahoga Arts and Culture, as well as state tax dollars allocated to the Ohio Arts Council, a state agency that funds and supports quality arts experiences to strengthen Ohio communities culturally, educationally, and economically. My story tonight begins with the Music Settlement enjoying one of its most productive and prosperous years through February of 2020. And then COVID-19 arrived, where we now live day by day trying to find our way in a new, radically altered lives and businesses. But with challenges come opportunities, and the music settlement responded to the challenges brought on by the pandemic with 3 phases of proactive reactions: response, resilience, and recovery. The response phase. When Governor DeWine issued the stay-home order and closed non-essential businesses in March, the settlement's response was to implement a business continuity plan to manage, among other key strategies, our financial sustainability, risk mitigation, communications, and advancement activities. We proactively pivoted and adapted the delivery of our programs and services by offering, for the first time on a wide scale, remote music instruction, music therapy, and educational programming. We took action to sustain our mission to welcome all to our music and arts community to learn, create, heal, and inspire. And we sought innovative ways to keep connected with our beloved students, clients, and the communities which we serve. During phase 2, resilience, our employees across all of our organization centers and divisions participated in a COVID-19 safety committee, incorporating the CDC and state of Ohio guidelines and safety protocols and policies. A board member task force oversees the activities of this employee committee. And we requested and received $641,200 of PPP funds under the Federal CARES Act to bring back 105 furloughed employees. And we spent 90% of those funds on payroll and benefits, though many of our programs were not in session. We received a generous gift of $1.5 million from an anonymous donor to pay the outstanding balance on the construction loan of our Ohio City campus. And some of our foundation grantors accelerated the timing of their gifts to TMS, and still others waived the restrictions that they had put on the use of their funds, and we were free to use those gifts for the highest and best uses. To mitigate the losses from campus closures, we made significant cuts in expenses. We closed the Ohio City campus for the spring and summer months. We saved money on utilities, and we terminated security at both campuses. These resilient responses to the adversity that threatened our very existence were made possible because of the can-do attitude, the focus and creativity and collaborative teamwork of our dedicated faculty and staff. And we are blessed to have a board of directors who spring into action when we call them for help. They guide us with their collective wisdom and experiences, and whose annual board financial support last year was at 184% of our budgeted goal. While we had to cancel our major fundraising event planned for last April, we concluded the fiscal year with a combined contributed revenue total at 99% of our budgeted target. These very positive results, though, were countered with material fourth quarter losses in enrollment and customers after the governor closed our on-site programs, which resulted in achieving 75% of our budgeted earned revenue last fiscal year. Our phase 3 recovery was accelerated on June 15th at the end of our fiscal year. That's when our Early Childhood Center reopened the University Circle campus to conduct a pilot pandemic day school for 7 weeks. Our early childhood program is now in session on both campuses, and we continue to offer remotely our Arts for the Young programming. The BOP STOP is successfully live streaming performances since July, and is taking advantage of this mild weather to present live outdoor performances to very small and limited audiences. Gabe Pollock continues to co-lead persuasive lobbying efforts directed to local, counties, state, and federal representatives to obtain funding for all performance venues. And our Center for Music currently delivers music instruction in a blended approach by offering both on-site and remote percussion, keyboard, and string instruction to students. Other lessons for voice, woodwinds, and brass are still taught remotely for health and safety reasons. And the center is rebuilding its community outreach programs as our partners resume school with on-site students. And finally, the Center for Music Therapy, also continues a dual approach in its delivery of music therapy services. This center, too, is rebuilding its community partnerships with those schools and social service agencies that are willing to have on-site music therapy sessions. Our other recovery actions include adding a social equity, diversity, and inclusion component to our current strategic plan and creative fundraising programs. In collaboration with our employees, the board, and an outside consultant, we are implementing a major initiative to educate and train on the topics of social equity and anti-racism, to ensure that our policies and practices are free of racial bias, and to have a culture that values diversity and is inclusive. We're excited to embark upon our very first crowdfunding campaign titled Imagine Your Community. We're imagining the many ways that we will connect, heal, learn, and inspire through music, the arts, and education. The possibilities are limited, and we invite you to help share our campaign with your social networks, family members, colleagues, and neighbors. The campaign goal is to raise $100,000, and we have until June 30th to which to do this. Visit givebutter.com/TMSimagine to learn about and share this campaign. Keys to Our Future is another exciting fundraising project in the works, and we'll be inviting donors to name the 88 keys on a piano that will be public displayed at the BOP STOP. This project is led by board member Daryl Deckard and is an initiative of our capital campaign. Daryl and the committee are hard at work finalizing this project, so please be on the lookout for more details coming soon. Just going to get something off of my screen here. Okay. My concluding words to you this evening resemble something of a stump speech. During this time of the many campaign speeches that you're hearing, the music settlement has survived 2 world wars, the Great Depression and the Great Recession, and we play a major role in our community's recovery from COVID-19. I continue to think about just how vital our community identity is, and just how prophetic and visionary our founder, Almeda Adams, was when she established TMS as a community settlement school. We exist to meet the needs of our community. And as we all know, the needs of our community are many, and they've expanded egregiously during this time of pandemic. I believe that as a community organization, we are needed now more than ever before by our citizens as a critical resource for connection, comfort, hope, healing, and inspiration. This is exactly what music, the arts, and education provide. This is why we exist. Our greatest purpose is to meet our students' and clients' greatest needs. Thank you for your generous support of TMS and for your kind attention tonight. My hope for you is that regardless of this rather impersonal format for the meeting tonight, that you feel the love and the deep appreciation that we have for all of you, and that after you hear the deeply moving words of our keynote speaker, our dear friend and benefactor, Mr. B. Scott Isquick, and the presentation of the awards to our esteemed honorees, that you will leave this meeting tonight feeling appreciated, comforted, hopeful, and inspired by the good people and the great work that is being done in this community. Thank you. Before we move on, I want to remind everyone again that prompted by tonight's speakers during various parts of the meeting to applaud or vote, please unmute yourselves. Our Zoom host will then mute all of you again before we move on. And board members, again, please remember you have to unmute yourselves during the board business portion when you're speaking. Thank you all again for your cooperation. And now, to conduct our short TMS business meeting, is our fearless leader of the TMS Board of Directors, Dr. Christopher Brandt.
Thanks, Jerry, and I do promise it'll be brief and short. Thanks and good evening. Thanks everybody for attending, even in this virtual format. This is the Music Settlement's 108th annual meeting. and we very much appreciate your participation. I'm just going to add a few remarks onto what Jerry said, and as she mentioned, the last 7 months has been interesting and challenging in many ways, particularly operationally and financially. It's really has forced us to look closely at what we do and how we do it. But what I think is even more important is it's made us more aware of why we do and what we do. And certainly I believe that the importance of our mission and the value that we provide to our community is more clear than ever. And Jerry has nicely described many of the operational efforts that were required in response to the COVID situation. And we're well aware that there are ongoing uncertainties and unpredictability. But there's no question in my mind we would not have gotten through this to be where we're at this point without the talent and hard work of all the employees, the tremendous support of the board, as Jerry mentioned, the really amazing assistance and support from all of our community partners. But most importantly, the incredible leadership that Jerry and her staff has provided to the organization throughout all of this, for which I'm very grateful. I am equally confident that we will get through this, through these challenges and continue on with the mission for another 108 years. And my thanks to all of you who are helping us get to that point. So I will now officially call this meeting to order. And as Jerry mentioned, there's going to be a couple times where we will require public voting, and we will let everybody know, and you'll all be unmuted for that. There will be an occasional opportunity, if you so wish, to applaud, and we'll reserve that for the end of the formal business part of the meeting. So first, my thank you and public acknowledgement of the 2019 and 2020 Board of Directors, which are listed here. And then we'll present a renewal of board member terms that are listed here. And the following members will be renewing a 3-year term, and our particular thanks to them: Lynn Eckendorf, Dan Philippi, Tom Holmes, Jason Padley, Renee Poland, Jack Walduck, and Kitty Warshowski. So I will now ask for a motion to approve these board terms.
This is Andrew Fiorella. I so move.
Michael Cantor seconds.
And everyone, we will now unmute and ask for a vote on this motion to approve the presented board term renewals. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And any opposed? All right, the motion is approved. Thank you. We will next make note of board members that are ending their terms. And again, our great appreciation for all their efforts and support of the music settlements. And this will be our slate of officers that we are electing for a 2-year term. Myself as chair, Lynn Eckendorf as first vice chair, Jack Waldeck for treasurer, and Andrew Fiorella for secretary. And then our executive committee will consist of the officers as well as board chairs. So in addition to the officers, Michael Cantor, who serves as our University Circle Campus Committee chair, Steve Muir, who continues to serve as chair of our investment committee, Elizabeth Stahl as ongoing chair and co-chair of our governance and nominating committee, and Kitty Warshowski, who has graciously served as interim chair of the marketing committee. And Jerry, I may ask if you want to make some comment in regards to the President's Advisory Cabinet.
Sure, Chris. So these individuals, all of them community leaders, have graciously agreed to support the music settlement in their way, and every single one of the folks on this list again, provides outside perspectives, advice, focus for us, and we're very appreciative to them all. Thank you.
And now I will turn the meeting over to Maura Hughes. Maura is chair of TMS West, and she'll conduct that portion of the board business.
Thanks, Chris. First, a little bit of background on what TMS West is. TMS West is an Ohio nonprofit corporation, and it's a 100% subsidiary of the Music Settlement. TMS West is the entity that owns the Ohio City campus space that we own, and TMS West owns and leases that Ohio City campus space to the Music Settlement. TMS West collected $177,634 in rental income from the Music Settlement for fiscal year 20, and $151,290 of that rental income was recirculated back to TMS for charitable purposes under the new market tax structure, which is what governs our building of the TMS space. So we need to elect the board of TMS West, and these board members are for 3-year terms. The slate that is proposed is Maura L. Hughes, that's me, for chair, Geraldine M. Presti as president, John W. Waldeck Jr. as vice president and treasurer, Deborah A. Wilcox as vice president, and Andrew Fiorella as secretary. I'll now ask for a motion to approve these TMS West board terms.
This is Lynn Eckendorf, so moved.
This is Daryl Deckard, I second.
Thank you. Would board members please unmute yourselves to now vote on this motion to approve the presented TMS West board? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. The motion is approved.
Thanks, Maura. Ask for a well-deserved round of applause for the current and the former board members of the board of directors. Thank you all. It is now my great pleasure and honor to introduce tonight's keynote presentation. And this year's speaker has a history with the Music Settlement spanning more than half of a century. His dedication to and advocacy for our organization, I'd say, is unparalleled. I am told that he is approaching his 95th birthday, although he can confirm for that himself if he wishes. And he continues to be a highly trusted resource for our staff. His service over this half a century has included membership on the board of directors from 1969 to 2001. He chaired the board from 1985 to 1987, and now serves as emeritus trustee. He and his wife Pam have also generously funded our Berkeley City Music Summer Scholar Program, one of the signature programs of the settlement, which enables us to send a student to the Berkeley School of Music's 5-week intensive summer program, and very well received, very prestigious, and an incredible opportunity for these students. So a valued treasure to all of us at the Music Settlement. It's my great pleasure to present firstly an interview with Mr. B. Scott Isquick. And I'd like to recognize one of our board members who pre-recorded Scott's address earlier this month, Obie Shelton, who spoke with Scott and produced the video that you're now going to see.
Scott Isquick has been a dashing Renaissance man in Cleveland for almost a century,
At 95, he still runs Isquick Annuities in Pepper Pike. He's also known for his love of classic cars. He has served on the board of the Western Reserve Historical Society, the board of the Ohio Scottish Games, and the board of the Music Settlement.
Good afternoon. I'm Scott Isquick. I've been lucky to have been associated with the Cleveland Music School Settlement, now known as the Music Settlement, for over 50 years, as a donor, as a board member, and as an officer.
His crowning personal musical achievement was conducting the Cleveland Orchestra, yes! As a guest conductor at Blossom, he started playing violin at Cleveland Heights High School.
I'm a dilettante musician. I was not going to become an orchestral player, and so the settlement appealed to me. First of all, the opportunity for anybody, irrespective of race, religion, any kind of physical handicap or financial handicap, could go to the settlement. As the years went on, the clientele changed, and we were very fortunate to have wonderful teachers, inspirational teachers. One of our famous alumnus is Seth McCoy, a black singer who studied at the Music Settlement. And we want to keep this up. The Institute of Music is a finishing school for professional musicians. We're a finishing school for people who love music and want to keep it in their lives. When the lady who started this, Almeida Adams, made sure that the settlement was open to everybody. And we still do that. I do think that the kids coming together, interchanging ideas, cultures, things like that, makes the settlement what the settlement is for.
His favorite settlement memory is a concert that he helped arrange.
In my last year of presidency, since I was a subscriber to the Cleveland Orchestra, I noticed in the program that there was a new apprentice conductor by the name of Michael Stern. So happens that Michael Stern is the son of Isaac Stern, the famous violinist. And so we got the idea, we always can use money. We thought of a benefit concert where Isaac Stern would come to Cleveland and play with the Ohio Chamber Orchestra in Severance Hall with Michael Stern as the conductor. It was a thrill. Here we are, the Music School Settlement, providing a concert in Severance Hall with Isaac Stern as the soloist, followed by a lovely dinner. And during the dinner that followed the concert, Vera Stern stood up and in a very emotional way said how thrilled she was to be at a concert conducted by her son, and the soloist was her husband.
He was on the board when the settlement began preschool and music therapy.
And I was lucky enough to be there when Dick Kaufman, who was hired by Howard Whitaker, started the preschool. Sylvia Easley just retired, but it was always intriguing for me to drive by in the morning and see Land Rovers and expensive cars, because everybody knew that the settlement had the best preschool in the city. Dick Kaufman brought Louise Steele to Cleveland to start music therapy. Our friend Jerry Presti, she started her career as a music therapist. And then Louise Steele went on and established music therapy at Baldwin Wallace. It was the beginning of a collegiate program for music therapy. And people respond to music like nothing else, and especially when we're talking about autism. This is a wonderful organization, which, after its first century, is burgeoning, unlike many of the other institutions that are shrinking or failing. And we are not a United Way agency anymore, and we don't have a big foundation. Even the Cleveland Orchestra, as you see, has had to let people go. The museum has had to let people go. And these people have hundreds of millions of dollars in endowment.
What are we going to be in 10 years from now? And
We are very lucky to have Jerry Presti as the president of the settlement. And I am so thrilled to hear we've gone to the BOP STOP for concerts, and we visited that near West Side facility, which attracts an entirely different audience. These are West Siders, near West Siders, being exposed to the settlement and its purpose and its curriculum. So I just think that my association goes back 50 years, and I'm looking forward to, I won't be here, but you guys will be here, to see how well the settlement will do under its present management. And I hope that you help to carry on this wonderful tradition of the music settlement for many years to come.
wow, what a storied history. Thank you so much, Scott, and thank you, Obi, for producing this video. Please all unmute yourselves for a big round of applause.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you again.
Jerry, you're on mute.
I'm sorry, it was, okay, I'll start that again. Thank you again, Scott and Pam, and thank you to Scott's family who were able to join us this evening, including his lovely wife, Pam. And I see David Isquick and somebody, yes, I see David Isquick down there. David is one of Scott's grandchildren who lives in California, and you've got somebody else there with you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're happy that your family could be here this evening. And Scott, this evening, we wish to share with you and your family some special news. As a beloved supporter and in recognition for more than a half a century of your service to the music settlement, we are thrilled to announce the naming of the B. Scott and Pamela Isquick Studio, located on the second floor of the Burke Mansion. Scott and Pam, we feel that this designation is the most appropriate way to honor your valued legacy. So all please unmute yourselves and help us celebrate Scott and Pam once again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Scott, would you like to say a few words at all? You have to unmute yourself. Pam, Pam, can you unmute him? Thank you. Go.
Okay, go. I think you're unmuted.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
very good. I'm thrilled and honored for the naming of the studio. As you know, the settlement has a very big place in our hearts. And all the things that I said during the interview, I would like to say threefold. And to the people attending the annual meeting and the trustees and the staff, please keep up the good work that you have been doing for over a century. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Okay.
We have to mute again.
It's now our pleasure to move on to the awards presentation portion of the program now. Since we could not be all together in person this year, our awards were presented in advance of the meeting. And as each award is discussed, you'll see photos of those presentations. In keeping with the in-person tradition, however, we ask that you please join in giving applause when prompted by tonight's speakers. So I just want to add to our honorees this evening, after our speakers introduce you, and we ask everyone to applaud for you, we'd like to spotlight you. So on your screen, you will have a choice. Two buttons will pop up. One will say later, and the other one will say unmute. If you choose later, that will lead us to only spotlight you. If you choose unmute, we will both spotlight you and you can say a few words. So again, to our honorees, choose later. We'll just be able to spotlight you after the award is announced, or choose unmute and then you can say a few words to us. Thank you. So now I would like to move on to introduce Ann Reed, our interim chair of the Center for Music Therapy, to kick off tonight's awards. Ann?
Thank you, Jerry. Good evening. As Jerry said, I am Ann Reed, interim chair of the Center for Music Therapy. The importance of volunteers cannot be overstated, and the efforts they put forth deserve our heartiest congratulations and recognition. Our Volunteer of the Year Award recognizes an individual whose unselfish and dedicated service demonstrates outstanding commitment to advancing TMS's mission and programs. TMS student Chris Mahone is a dedicated member of our Center for Music, CFM community. After learning about the music settlement at a local bluegrass event where TMS was an exhibitor, she joined the inaugural season of the Settlement Singers, our active adult choir, in 2018. From there, Chris started taking double bass lessons in Ohio City with Ann Gilbert and joined our Friends of CFM committee. She's been a dedicated advocate for TMS ever since. Actively promoting TMS throughout the community, Chris doubles as one of our recruiters as she encourages her friends to join the Settlement Singers. She has also been very helpful through the choir's director, Kim Lordson, regularly provides snacks for the choir and helps to organize social gatherings outside of rehearsals. Chris is always willing to go the extra mile. When we were installing soundproofing material at our Ohio City campus, she not only came to help, but she enlisted members of her family to assist. Chris has always been eager to help with our annual Holiday Circle Fest celebration, and for the most recent event, she secured numerous donations for our raffle, which, combined with our bake sale, raised nearly $800 for TMS. She is passionate, welcoming, and a shining light to everyone at TMS. Thank you and congratulations to Chris, who earlier this week was presented with our Volunteer of the Year Award. Please unmute yourselves for a big round of applause for Chris.
Yay.
Yep, she's there.
I just will make it quick. I want to thank you. I could never repay in volunteer work for everything that I've received. I'm grateful for Matt being at that Bluegrass Festival because that really put all of you on my radar, and I just want to thank you. And I'm excited to be a part of this group. I'm so honored. So thanks again.
Good evening. I'm Steve Krager, Vice President of Finance and Administration, and it's my pleasure to present the TMS Corporate Partner of the Year Award to Zinner & Company, our independent public accounting firm. It gives us great pleasure to be able to shine a light on the incredible work they do as industry leaders, helping organizations like us do better and achieve more. Zinner & Company, founded in 1938, is a Cleveland CPA and management consulting firm whose primary business is to provide solutions to help their clients succeed. They are founded on integrity, commitment, and a pledge to help individuals, not-for-profit organizations, and companies to grow and prosper, not just for today, but for decades to follow. As one can imagine, examining and evaluating the financial statements of a nonprofit with essentially 4 different business units can be quite daunting. But we've been fortunate enough, however, to have a corporate partner in Zinner who understands our organization as they've been managing our audit process since 2012. Having initially come from an auditing background, I certainly appreciate the professional approach and excellent customer service they provide for their clients. Sue Krantz, our audit partner, and Chris Valponi, our audit manager, have both been on our audit team since I've been here at TMS. They are valued partners who expertly balance their roles between independent auditors and trusted financial advisors. The Zinner not only supports TMS for their audit work, but they also support our initiatives, like sponsoring our fundraising events. We are very grateful to partner Sue Krantz and everyone on the Zinner & Company team for their dedication, commitment, and expertise. Sue Krantz, who just this past weekend celebrated a birthday, accepted our Corporate Partner of the Year award on Zinner's behalf earlier this week. Would you please unmute yourselves for a round of applause for Zinner & Company?
Woohoo! Bravo.
You. What an honor it is to work with you, and it was great, Steve, to hear the growth and be reminded of the growth of the music settlement since we even started. You didn't have the BOP STOP, you didn't have TMS West, and everything else that you're doing. So it really is our honor to be able to work with such a wonderful organization. I will say it's very intimidating, though, to attend the Finance Committee meetings with the great talent of all the Finance Committee members. Nobody told me how much talent there is in the room, so it's a little overwhelming to spend time with so many great singers and musicians, but it's a wonderful organization, and we really are deeply honored for not only the award but the opportunity to work with you. So thank you.
Well, I'll just go next and we'll advance slides. I'm Karen Heitlinger, Chair for the Center of Early Childhood. I have the honor of presenting our Community Partner of the Year Award, which is presented to an individual or organization within our community that demonstrates dedication and commitment to healthy, thriving communities by helping to advance TMS's mission. Like its mythological namesake, Phoenix Coffee Company obtains new life by rising from the ashes of its predecessor. From its inception nearly 30 years ago, Phoenix has continued to rise up from the ashes with a renewed youth, and today is one of Cleveland's premier coffee roasters with 5 cafes around the city. They continue to nurture community around great coffee. And as some of you may have heard the public announcement just made on Tuesday, Phoenix will now operate as an employee-owned cooperative. Current and future employees will now have a voice in operating policy and ownership stake in the company with profit sharing and board representation rights. In October of 2019, back when people actually worked in offices and not remotely, Phoenix Coffee teamed up with TMS to launch Sips and Strings to bring a caffeine-infused musical brain break to businesses and organizations of all sizes across Northeastern Ohio. The program quickly gained attention from Clevelanders across the city. Live music and a complimentary cup of joe was the perfect way to get people to step away from the busy workday. TMS musicians performed a variety of musical genres while the employees sipped on Phoenix's house brew. This unique way of bringing music to the people helped boost people's productivity, relieve stress, and inspire creativity. After visiting 14 businesses in a 3-month time span, the response from the community made it clear that the Sips and Strings program was a huge success. As word of the program spread, we received many requests and wound up with a wait list of more than 20 businesses and organizations. COVID-19 temporarily suspended the Sips and Strings program, but there is great enthusiasm for continuing this just as soon as it is safe to do so. We are grateful for our relationship with Phoenix Coffee Company and the positive effects on the members of our community created through our collaboration. Earlier this week, we presented Shane Hind, Director of Monies, Hugs, people, and papers at Phoenix Coffee Company. Yes, this is his actual title. Check his LinkedIn profile with our Community Partner of the Year award. Please unmute yourselves to join me in a round of applause.
Thank you all. I can't emphasize enough the term partner in this award. At Phoenix, we're incredibly grateful for the Music Settlement and their collaboration and the Sips and Strings program. We have a guiding principle of something might happen, SHMA, as we like to say. And from our very early meetings about a concept of partnering some way, we had fun in looking at how to aspirationally and ideologically expand each of our missions and bring something new to Cleveland. And I was personally thrilled with what we executed with Sips and Strings, as it was just wonderful to see other Clevelanders enjoy coffee and music and have one of the coolest breaks to their day that they could. So I'm looking forward to the pandemic ending so we can get back out there and keep spreading joy and music and coffee within the Cleveland community. So thank you all. Thank you, the Music Settlement. We're looking forward to brighter times.
All right.
Gabe, you need to mute yourself.
Oh, there we go. All
Yeah.
right. Good evening. I'm Gabe Pollack, Director of BOP STOP. I'm thrilled to be awarding BOP STOP's inaugural Cool Cat Award, created to recognize an individual or organization whose love of music fuels them to support BOP STOP's mission and enhance Cleveland's music scene. Now, anyone who knows our BOP Stoppers knows that there are some really incredible music-loving people in that group. And when determining the recipients of this year's award, however, two special individuals quickly came to mind. Dan Peck and Mercedes Peterman have attended over 60 events at BOP Stop since their first online ticket purchase on April 24th, 2018. More recently, they booked the club's first private concert when BOP Stop first announced the idea to its followers in August 2020 as a safe way to support the local music scene. They have tuned in to well over 6 live streams over the past 2 months and have stopped by the venue on numerous occasions since we began allowing small audiences to attend in person. They should stop by more often because they have a habit of bringing me Chipotle. Dan has also donated items to the Save Our Stages online auction being hosted in November. A portion of proceeds raised by the auction will benefit BOP Stop. Dan and Mercedes are also huge beer fanatics, but what's crazy is that Dan doesn't drink any alcohol. However, the two love to pair their favorite performers with new beers and will oftentimes bring bands a can or two as a thank you for performing. They have introduced many of their beer-loving friends to BOP Stop, which has been fantastic for us since all bar proceeds support the Music Settlement. These friends also willingly volunteer to help at BOP Stop when I'm in a pinch and are constantly running ideas by me, including starting a BOP Stop podcast. I knew that Dan and Mercedes should be the first recipients of the Cool Cat Award when they told me earlier this year that BOP Stop is a nicer venue than the Village Vanguard. Thanks to Dan and Mercedes for their continued support of the greater BOP Stop community. Please all unmute yourselves to join me in congratulating them on this award. Yeah.
So, we're grateful just to have, the Music Settlement and the BOP Stop as part of a community. And one of the things that we experience as we travel from city to city is really sort of the absence of organizations with this mission and this opportunity to to enrich communities with music in all of its various forms and functions. And Gabe, as we were discussing, one of the critical missions of the BOP Stop and really of the Music Settlement is it's sort of a place in an organization where people across socioeconomic strata can come together to have shared experiences around music and around the arts, and it's it really does play a critical role in the community, and it is really something that we miss when we aren't here. So we're grateful for the award and look forward to sharing many things with you in many years to come. And carne asada for the next video. Gabe?
Of course, that's cool.
Yeah, okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Matt Charbonneau, Chair of the Center for Music. Tonight, I'm presenting our Foundation of the Year Award. TMS would be nothing without the incredible opportunity and support extended to us by those who are simply led by a giving nature and desire to help their community. This is true not only the support provided from individuals in our board, but also from foundations, which have made up approximately 20% of our contributed revenue over the past 3 years. This year's Foundation of the Year Award recipient is a true partner, having invested in our mission for more than 3 decades. They take the time to really get to know the organizations they support, their staff, their missions, their goals and strategies. They encourage nonprofits to continuously improve, resulting in greater success, which then translates to a more significant positive impact on our community. Incorporated in 1955, the Kelvin and Eleanor Smith Foundation, a private family foundation, has been funded solely through the gifts and estates of Kelvin and Eleanor Smith. Kelvin, along with his 2 brothers, was a co-founder of the Lubrizol Corporation. He and his wife, Eleanor, were greatly interested in the arts and the natural environment and cared deeply for their community. The mission of the Kelvin and Eleanor Smith Foundation is to support nonprofit organizations that adhere to the excellence in their missions, creativity and approach, fiscal responsibility, and dynamic leadership in their service to the community, which ultimately makes a positive impact for the citizens of Northeast Ohio. Their strategic priorities include arts and culture, economic development, education, environment, and the health and human services. Their immense impact can be seen throughout our community, from the Eleanor Armstrong Smith Glass House at the Cleveland Botanical Garden to the Garden Court in University Hospital's Emergency Medicine Center. We are deeply grateful for and honored by the Foundation's longstanding investment in our mission and for the faith they place in us to live up to the high standards they set for their grantees. It's my pleasure to present this year's Foundation of the Year Award to the Kelvin and Eleanor Smith Foundation. We're excited to be joined tonight by the Foundation's President and Chairman, Ellen Stern Mavick, granddaughter of Kelvin and Eleanor, and Grant's manager, Pam Eichenauer, who both were presented this award earlier this week. Congratulations, thanks for all that you do, and if everyone would please unmute yourselves for a round of applause.
Thanks, Matt. I don't know if Pam's on or not. I can't really see her. But certainly from the Board of Trustees of the Kelvin and Eleanor Smith Foundation, and from me and from Pam, we are just delighted to accept this wonderful honor. And we are just so honored ourselves in order to support such an incredible organization like the Music Settlement that brings music and joy to everyone in this community. And we all need a lot of music and joy right now. So we are delighted to be involved and a great love of your organization. And Jerry, congratulations, and all of the staff. And it's just been a joy for us. And we look forward to many more years of being together. Pam, are you on?
I'm here. Thank you so much. Yeah, I just want to say thanks again for this wonderful honor, and we've enjoyed being partners with you all for so many years. So congratulations to everything that you've been able to do during this pandemic, and we wish you all the best for next year as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have to do the controls here too, so I'm trying to get myself together here. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Pam. I'm Annie Schwartz, Vice President of Advancement. Thank you all for joining us this evening in celebrating what makes TMS so special, its people. I have the pleasure of presenting our Standing Ovation Award, which is given to an individual or a group who exhibit exemplary achievement for TMS and further its mission in outstanding ways. Through this award, we wish to shine a light on the caring souls whose remarkable efforts signify the critical role people play in our organization's success. In December of 2019, the Browns contacted TMS because they wanted to make a significant investment and wanted to know where they could be most helpful. After learning of our initiatives, they were very interested in our Sips and Strings program because of how it so effectively demonstrated the power of music while connecting TMS to the greater community. Later that same month, Janet Gans Brown, a retired singer herself and longtime music student of the renowned late voice teacher Pauline Thesmacher, established an outreach endowment. Together with her husband, Dr. Robert Brown, a CWRU physics professor, Dr. Brown also recognized his own late voice teachers, Stephen Saraz and Faye Liebman Cohen. The Janet Gans Brown and Dr. Robert Brown Outreach Programs Endowment Fund supports and strengthens the interaction between the settlement's faculty and students and the business world and other outside institutions and organizations. Never before, at least not during our lifetimes, has music's power to connect, inspire, and heal been more critical. And because of the Browns' incredible support, TMS can provide that music in our community. Courtesy of their daughter Kirsten's Instagram account, for which I was snooping, you can see on the screen Kirsten posing with her parents, Janet and Bob. What is so touching about this photo from December of 2019, and what exemplifies Janet and Bob's unselfish and caring nature, is Kirsten's accompanying post, an excerpt from which reads, "Dad's Cleveland Med Device Company was just sold, and I'm humbled to tears and put to shame by the generosity shown by my parents as I've watched them joyfully give away much of the profits. I just hope to try a lot harder to be more like the people who raised me. We are deeply grateful for all Janet and Bob have done and continue to do for TMS. And we are also very happy to have Kirsten. I believe she's here with us on this meeting today too. So please, everyone, unmute yourselves to join me in congratulating Janet Gans and Dr. Robert Brown, recipients of this year's Standing Ovation Award. Mom and Dad.
There you go. So I can hear. So I get to talk because you know, for Janet, and I'm Mr. Janet Brown, talk because I can tell you what a beautiful musician she is, what a beautiful person she is, what a beautiful voice she had, all because, well, at least a large part, her involvement with Pauline Thesmacher and all those years in the settlement house. I had, for the 50 years that I've been here in Cleveland, I've been involved and I really benefited so much from the settlement house. And Janet, her whole life, you know, for 30 years, she's been really had a tremendous association with the settlement house. It's a terrific thing. So when we had this chance to try to give something back or to try to be involved more and to try to grow from here, oh wow, we were so happy with the way Jerry and Annie and Emily and everyone just made us feel so welcome and so, you know, we had such a great feeling of warmth and involvement with all of you, and it makes us want to be involved more and more in the coming years. And Janet was going to tell you about the exciting thing that we wanted to mention, but Annie already mentioned that our daughter is here, with another beautiful voice. And so now we're going to take a half an hour for you to listen to them sing.
I want to say this is a family affair, actually. This all started back with Frederick and Joyce Koch, who are cousins of ours, who said, "Oh, when you graduate from Baldwin Wallace, you must go study with Pauline Thesmacher, because she was also Joyce Koch's teacher." And so Pauline was near and dear to our family. And Kirsten also studied with Pauline Thesmacher. And one other story. One day, my lesson up with Pauline Thesmacher on the 3rd floor where the children's playroom is or was, in came Seth McCoy. He sat on the couch and listened to my lesson, and what a delightful, loving person. I can't tell you. Brings tears to my eyes today.
But so the whole thing has been a thrill, and thank you all very much for letting us be part of your wonderful world.
Our final award this evening is a new one for TMS, the Going the Distance Award. This award in some ways was created in response to the pandemic, and it presented to an individual, group, or organizations with a significant history of service to TMS and proven dedication and passion for our mission, while also displaying innovation and creativity in their work. Certainly serving as a successful and popular member of our faculty for nearly 5 decades would, even in quote unquote normal times, be worthy of recognition for this year's recipient. COVID-19, however, managed to draw even more attention to the adaptability and creativity that solidifies this individual's ability to go the distance with TMS. It brings us great joy to recognize Arthur Kane Jr., piano department head and piano, harpsichord, and organ instructor, with our inaugural Going the Distance Award. Now in his 47th year with TMS, he continues to prove he's got the staying power for even more years to come. Arthur joined TMS in 1973 as an office manager at the Harvard East Branch, and soon afterwards he was offered a position as a piano teacher there. Then a few years later, he moved to the University Circle campus, where for the past 30 years, he has been head of the piano department. In 2001, Arthur created the Settlements Piano Camp program, which is still going strong today. And in fact, this summer, despite social distancing brought on by the global pandemic, Arthur maintained a full piano camp, which he provided virtually. His master's degree in piano and music history has been put to good use in planning the ever-changing themes of the camp, according to his colleague Linda Allen, who also says that Arthur is her favorite duet partner. In addition to Linda, we reached out to others close to Arthur, and one of them provided such wonderful remarks that we felt it best to share them directly. The Honorable Stuart Friedman, Arthur's husband, shared the following about Arthur in his remarkable career. So these are Stuart's words that follow. It may be said that Arthur loves teaching, from the beginners just learning their finger positions and notes, straight through to the advanced coaching. From kids too small to touch the pedals, to retired judges, settlement board members, and even our president, Jerry Presti, not Donald Trump. When COVID-19 pandemic forced us to move from in-person lessons to Zoom, Arthur picked the ball right up and ran with it. One advantage for me, Stuart, has been that I'm able to hear his Zoom lessons, and I can appreciate just how he treats each student as an individual. One anecdote stands out in capturing Arthur's attitude towards people, and especially his attitude towards teaching. For years, he had campaigned the Music Settlement to organize a summer piano camp. He said it would help teachers in the settlement by bringing in needed revenue. It would help the students by giving them opportunities to learn, while also giving them activities with other students. For years, however, this idea was shot down by one executive director after another. Finally, however, it was attempted, and it turned out to be an immediate success. One year, a student came to the camp, and from the very first day, Arthur saw that this boy presented some issues. Although musically talented, the boy clearly had serious emotional problems. Arthur went to the executive director, who told him to kick the boy out of the camp in order to avoid any future problems. Instead, Arthur went to the head of the music therapy department, and he got her on board with what to do and how to deal with the situation. She got involved and she helped Arthur, and the long and short of it is, it worked. The problem child succeeded, and in fact, he returned to the piano camp for several more years. Well, not only that, but I remember that one evening, several years later, As we were leaving Severance Hall after a concert, Arthur heard someone call out to him. It was the very same boy. He breathlessly told Arthur that he had to go onto YouTube to hear his performance of a movement from a Mozart piano concerto. He then said that he had won a competition for young pianists to perform with an orchestra. Clearly, none of this would have happened but for Arthur's taking a personal interest in dealing with what could have been a tragic turn of events. Thank you, Stuart, for providing all of us with more insight into the very special role that Arthur Kane has played and continues to play in the lives of so many through his work at the Music Settlement. On behalf of this Music Settlement, we are thrilled to present our inaugural Going the Distance Award to Arthur Kane Jr. Please unmute yourselves, everyone, to join me in celebrating Arthur receiving this award. Yay,
Yay, Arthur. Woo!
Arthur, do you want to say anything?
Sure. It's been my pleasure and honor to be able to serve at the Music Settlement. I've loved every minute of it. It's great. I'm continuing to love it. But I have to tell you that this is all teamwork. We have a wonderful team at the settlement, including the board members, our administrative staff under Jerry, and our Center for Music staff under Matt Charbonneau, our office staff under Natasha Simmons, and our piano faculty. Everybody works together, and that's how we succeed. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for joining us this evening. Jerry warned you that you would leave this meeting feeling appreciated, comforted, hopeful, and inspired, and I think that's true. So my congratulations to all of the awardees, and thank you so much for what you've done for the settlement and what you've done to help us help our community. TMS it's a better place because of all of you, and we're so grateful for all of what you do. This officially concludes our annual business meeting. Thank you all for joining. We wish you all happiness and good health, particularly as we approach the holiday season. So have a great evening, and thank you again.
Thank you all so much. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.